We've reviewed the opportunities AI creates, productivity gains, enhanced customer experience, and competitive advantage. But understanding opportunity intellectually is different from pursuing it. The gap between knowing AI adds value and acting on that knowledge is often filled with fear and resistance. This lesson focuses on the practical mindset and techniques that enable you and your team to overcome fear and engage productively with AI transformation. Specifically, we'll explore how curiosity and adaptability qualities you already possess can counteract the natural resistance to change. First, let's acknowledge that fear around AI is natural and rational. Author and roboticist Daniel H. Wilson said, "Change creates fear, and technology creates change." Sadly, most people don't behave very well when they're afraid. Leadership Management Resource has uncovered that fear of change comes from a rational place. And peace activist Thich Nhat Hanh said, "If we can acknowledge our fear, we can realize that right now we are okay." Change creates uncertainty about the future. Will my role change? Will I need to learn entirely new skills? What if I can't adapt quickly enough? These are not irrational concerns. They're things that have happened to people over the history of many different changes. They're legitimate questions about professional identity and security. AI amplifies these concerns because it seems particularly capable and unpredictable. Unlike previous tools that clearly augmented human work, AI sometimes appears to replace human judgment entirely. The key is not eliminating fear, it's channeling it productively. Fear can paralyze, or it can motivate learning and adaptation. The difference often comes down to mindset and practice. Curiosity is one of the most powerful responses to uncertainty and change. When you're curious about something, you engage with it actively rather than avoiding it defensively. You move from "what will this do to me" to "what can I do with this?" Fear focuses on what might be done to you. Curiosity focuses on what you might do with new capabilities. Irish novelist Jane Stevens said, "Curiosity will conquer fear even more than bravery will." Susan Wojcicki, the former CEO of YouTube, said, "When it comes to technology, curiosity is the new currency." And Sir Arthur Conan Doyle said, "The human brain is capable of only one strong emotion at a time, and if it be filled with curiosity or scientific enthusiasm, there is no room for fear," explaining the psychological principle that curiosity can displace fear. This shift in framing changes everything. Instead of asking, "Will AI replace my job?" curiosity asks, "How can AI make me more effective at what I do?" Instead of "What skills will become obsolete?" curiosity asks, "What new capabilities can I develop?" The questions you ask shape the mindset you adopt. Fear-based questions lead to defensive responses. Curiosity-based questions lead to exploration and learning. So we want to think about how we cultivate curiosity practically, especially when facing something that triggers anxiety. Start small. Rather than trying to understand all of AI, get curious about one specific application relevant to your work. How does that AI-powered tool actually work? What does it do well? What are its limitations? And what would make it more useful? This focused curiosity makes AI concrete and manageable rather than abstractly threatening. Ask questions from a learner's perspective, not an evaluator's. Instead of immediately judging whether an AI application is good or bad, approach it with genuine curiosity. How is this trained? What data does it use? How does it handle exceptions? This learning stance reduces defensiveness and enables you to understand AI capabilities more deeply, which ironically positions you better to evaluate them strategically. Experiment hands-on whenever possible. Abstract discussions about AI remain theoretical. Using AI tools directly even simple ones, make capabilities and limitations concrete. This direct experience builds understanding that reduces fear born from uncertainty. Your team takes cues from your behavior. If you approach AI with curious questions and genuine interest in learning, they're more likely to do the same. This means being comfortable saying, I don't know, let's find out together. It means asking questions in meetings about how AI tools work. It means sharing what you're learning about AI applications and inviting others to explore with you. When leaders model curiosity rather than fear or forced enthusiasm, teams feel safer engaging honestly with AI transformation. Curiosity helps you engage with change. Adaptability helps you navigate it successfully. Adaptability isn't about abandoning what you're good at, it's about continuously adding new capabilities and adjusting approaches as circumstances change. Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset applies powerfully to AI adoption. People with growth mindsets believe capabilities can be developed through effort and learning. Those with fixed mindsets believe capabilities are innate and unchangeable. Applied to AI, a fixed mindset says, I'm not technical, so I can't understand AI. Or, I've built my career on these skills, and AI makes them irrelevant. A growth mindset says, I can learn what I need to know about AI, and I can develop new capabilities that complement AI. The growth mindset isn't naive optimism, it's realistic confidence that you can learn and adapt. And research consistently shows this mindset enables people to navigate change more successfully. Adaptability is partly mindset, but also practical capability built through practice. Start by reflecting on past changes you've navigated successfully. You've adapted to new technologies, new processes, new roles before. What approaches worked? What enabled you to learn effectively? This reflection reveals that you already have adaptive capacity. AI isn't the first significant change you've faced, and it won't be the last. Practice small adaptations regularly. Don't wait for major disruptions to exercise adaptive capacity. Experiment with new tools, learn new approaches, and seek out unfamiliar challenges in low-stakes situations. This regular practice keeps your adaptive capacity strong. So when significant changes like AI transformation occur, adaptation feels familiar rather than overwhelming. Creating organizational adaptability requires intentional cultivation. Provide learning opportunities regularly, not just when crises demand it. Make continuous learning part of normal operations, not something that only happens during major transitions. Celebrate learning from failures, not just successes. When AI experiments don't work out, focus team conversations on what was learned rather than who made mistakes. This creates psychological safety for the experimentation that adaptability requires. Create stretch assignments that require learning new capabilities. Team members who regularly step outside comfort zones develop confidence in their ability to adapt, making AI transformation less threatening. Recognize and reward adaptive behaviors explicitly. When someone learns a new AI tool, ask thoughtful questions about an AI proposal, or adjust their workflow to incorporate AI capabilities, acknowledge it publicly. This reinforces that adaptability is valued. Let's address specific fears that commonly block engagement with AI and how curiosity and adaptability counter them. The fear of AI will replace my job. The curiosity response: what parts of my role could AI potentially handle? What parts require the human judgment, creativity, and relationship building that AI can't replicate? How can I focus more on these high value aspects? This curiosity leads to understanding that most jobs aren't replaced entirely. Specific tasks are automated, while other aspects become more valuable. Engaging with this reality productively is better than anxiously avoiding it. Ayn Rand said, you can avoid reality, but you cannot avoid the consequences of avoiding reality. Psychiatrist and author M. Scott Peck said, emotional sickness is avoiding reality at any cost. emotional health is facing reality at any cost. Now, the adaptability response would be if some aspects of my current role become automated, what new capabilities could I develop that would be valuable? What opportunities might emerge as routine work is handled by AI? This adaptability mindset focuses on evolution and growth rather than defending a static role that may indeed change. There's the fear, I'm too old, not technical enough to learn this. You know that old saying, can't teach an old dog new tricks. But the curiosity response would be, what do I actually need to understand about AI for my role? Do I need to code? Or do I need to understand capabilities and ask strategic questions? What's the minimum viable knowledge? This curiosity often reveals that the learning requirement is less daunting than feared. You don't need to become a data scientist. You need to understand enough to make strategic decisions. The adaptability response is I've learned complex new things before, new software, new business processes, new markets. What approaches to learning work best for me? How can I apply these approaches to learning about AI? This adaptability recognizes that learning capacity doesn't disappear with age or background. It just requires intentional approach. And there's the fear, what if we invest in AI and it fails? The curiosity response is what have we learned from past technology investments that didn't work out? What made some succeed and others fail? How can we apply those lessons to AI initiatives? This curiosity transforms fear of failure into learning from experience. The adaptability response. How can we structure AI initiatives to learn quickly and adjust course rather than betting everything on one approach? What's a low-risk way to experiment and build understanding? This adaptability suggests starting small, learning, and scaling what works, reducing risk while building capability. And the fear, our competitors are moving faster. The curiosity response, what specifically are competitors doing with AI? What results are they actually achieving versus what they're claiming? And what can we learn from their approaches? This curiosity cuts through anxiety about being behind to understand actual competitive dynamics. The adaptability response is given where we are now, what's our fastest path to building AI capabilities? Do we build, buy, or partner? Where can we leapfrog rather than following the same path? If we think back to previous lessons in this course, we could ask, how do we avoid having to follow in the exact rut created by the wagon wheels of our competitors who already started? This adaptability focuses on strategic positioning rather than defensive panic. Curiosity and adaptability flourish in environments where people feel safe to ask questions, try new things, and make mistakes while learning. You want to normalize not knowing. Make it culturally acceptable to say, I don't understand this yet, or I need to learn more about this. When leaders admit what they don't know, teams feel safer doing the same. This honesty accelerates learning because people ask clarifying questions rather than pretending to understand and making mistakes based on confusion. There's the old business adage where people say never respond to a question with I don't know. But in reality, the reason for that is not that you shouldn't acknowledge that you don't know something. It's that it shouldn't stop there. I don't know, but I'll find out would be the alternative that would be much better. Or I don't know, and then following that with a question that can help build insight in order to identify how to learn more. So we want to separate learning from performance. Create explicit space for learning about AI that's separate from performance evaluation. Learning requires experimentation, which means some things won't work. If people fear performance consequences from experiments that don't succeed, they're less likely to experiment. Encourage questions over certainty. Value thoughtful questions more than confident assertions. In rapidly evolving areas like AI, questions often demonstrate better understanding than claims of certainty. When team members ask probing questions about AI proposals, about data requirements, about failure modes, about integration challenges. Recognize this as valuable contribution, not obstruction. There are some specific practices you can implement to build these capabilities in yourself and your team. You might choose to create weekly AI learning shares. Dedicate 15 minutes in team meetings for someone to share something they learned about AI that week. This normalizes continuous learning and exposes the team to diverse AI applications and concepts. You can have experiment and learn sessions. Allocate time for team members to experiment with AI tools, ChatGPT, image generators, data analysis tools, and share what they discovered. Hands-on experience often builds understanding faster than abstract discussion. Consider failure post-mortems with learning focus. When AI initiatives don't work as planned, conduct post-mortems that focus on what did we learn rather than who messed up. Document lessons learned and share them broadly. Curiosity challenges. Challenge team members to identify one way AI could potentially improve their work. Research it and present findings. This focused curiosity makes AI relevant and concrete. And have cross-functional AI discussions. Bring together people from different functions to discuss how AI might impact their respective areas. This diversity of perspectives builds broader understanding and identifies opportunities that siloed thinking might miss. Your leadership behaviors directly influence whether your team approaches AI with fear or productive engagement. Ask more questions than you answer, especially around AI. Demonstrate curiosity through questions. How does that actually work? What would need to be true for this to succeed? What could go wrong? This questioning stance models the curiosity you want to see. Share your own learning journey. Talk about what you're learning about AI, what you find confusing, and what you're figuring out. This vulnerability demonstrates that learning is ongoing and that not knowing everything is acceptable. Celebrate adaptive behaviors. Explicitly recognize when people demonstrate curiosity or adaptability. You could say things like, "I appreciate how you approached learning that new AI tool," or "Your willingness to try a different approach when the first one didn't work is exactly the adaptability we need." And provide resources for learning. Make it easy for people to learn about AI. Provide access to courses, time for learning, opportunities to attend conferences or workshops. Investment in learning signals that curiosity and growth are valued. So let's talk about the compounding effect. Curiosity and adaptability create positive feedback loops. Initial curiosity leads to learning, which builds confidence, which enables more ambitious exploration, which generates more learning. Early adaptations prove you can learn new things, which makes subsequent changes less threatening, which enables faster adaptation. Organizations that systematically cultivate curiosity and adaptability don't just navigate AI transformation more successfully, they build enduring capabilities that serve them through all future changes. Fear is natural when facing significant change like AI transformation, but it doesn't have to be paralyzing. Curiosity transforms fear into engagement. Adaptability transforms uncertainty into opportunity. These aren't abstract virtues. They're practical capabilities you can develop in yourself and cultivate in your team through intentional practice. You already have the foundation. You wouldn't be learning about AI if you weren't curious about its implications and willing to adapt your understanding. Now it's about systematically applying these capabilities and building them across your organization. In our final lesson of this section, we'll bring everything together: uncertainty as opportunity, concrete value creation, competitive advantage, and the mindset for engaging productively into a framework for identifying and evaluating genuine AI opportunities in your specific context. Let's focus on how to identify which opportunities matter most for your organization.